Section 78 of the Petroleum Law set a requirement. That's why we're asking NOCAL at the time to fund the bid fund activities. But we're not asking them to take over data management.
You want me to read them? Remember?
Or
you also would have.
I don't need the collection center.
Do we sell or lease all blocks?
So, our first thing is not even all black, it's acreage. All black is just
they know.
So
Yeah,
it's lease. So it's lease. So the petroleum law requires us to lease the acreage for 7 years.
So we don't sell.
We don't sell. So you lease it for 7 years. That's why after every exploration period, you relinquish. That means if I give you 4 blocks, then you're giving total 4 blocks. After the first exploration phase, which is 2 years, you relinquish 25% of the blocks and you give it back. It's leased to you. After every exploration period, you relinquish 25%.
And after 7 years?
If you can be aware of what program, you ask for extension. If you still want to continue to explore.
So we don't sell.
We don't sell. We do not sell. It belongs to the country.
Nominee.
Oh, I'll just answer the question.
Yeah, no. You know, my question, if you take note, is not to test it at anything. There are 2 reasons I want to test it at anything, or to want to question, or to be informed, or educated. My question is not for you. My question is to help to educate.
That's not an exercise. Sorry.
Yeah. All the national outline. Said, do again. Do we sell?
No, sir. We do not sell our oil block. We lease them for 7 years, maximum.
And after the 7 years,
We relinquish the blocks.
then it comes back to the country.
Come back to the country. Yes.
Don't care about the Orange.
Because let me name my last question. What is NOCAL's knowledge of participation with the recent lease of all blocks to Oranto and to question?
What is it?
NOCAL's knowledge
The knowledge
of and participation the lease of these all blocks.
So
To
NOCAL,
Oranto and
so NOCAL is the marketing agent. So our job is to go and promote and be able to be as persuasive as we can to the oil companies to express interest and come and take over black. So when those companies express interest, then we take them to the petroleum authority to be able to acquire license. As part of the license acquisition process, these companies are pre-qualified. So participate up to the point where took the company's tool LPRA to be pre-qualified. And then when the negotiation is ongoing, because of the citizen and state participation interest that's managed by NOCAL, we have to sign a joint operating agreement with these companies because we become a party to the agreement when it's ratified. So that's the rule of NOCAL.
so is it safe to say that NOCAL spotted, recruited, and brought forward Oranto?
I would say
And presented to LPRA.
I would say we promoted the country and subsurface potential to Oranto for different reasons. One, we earn revenue from that service. So it's like when you conduct a bid round, several companies will come in, will pay bid fees. By the end of the day, you select one company for that service.
So let me ask my question again.
Yeah.
So NOCAL forwarded Oranto to the regulator for the licensing.
Yes, I would say it's it's the language you're using. That's so when you promote the basin to the company, the first day they go, they look at the data. At that point, NOCAL is making money. So we want to promote the basin to as many companies as possible because they will come and acquire our data.
So as long as NOCAL is making money, the
So-
repetition of the
No, at that point, the company is not qualified yet, because you have to be pre-qualified.
okay,
So when they
in
acquire the
order
data,
for Mr. Nomini, in order for LPRA to lessen any exploration company
they'll be
or oil
qualified.
company,
They'll be qualified.
NOCAL has to pre-qualify.
Don't LPRA will pre-qualified.
So LPRA does not go looking for customer.
No, their job is not.
NOCAL does.
Yes, our job is to promote.
So NOCAL send also saw Oranto and
So pre-qualified and see what they qualify.
that's my question. So that means NOCAL also had a role in forwarding
Around to,
Oranto to LPRA.
yes.
Did you do due diligence on the history, background of Oranto?
That's a regulatory function. So normally, we check the financial capacity. Yes, do you have? Can you fund the drilling program? Yes. Can you afford our data? Yes. Do you have a history of drilling in this sector, or do you have a history in oil and gas sector? Yes. We found it up here. Because we are not the regulator, they are responsible to vet and validate the company. We let the regulator do their job.
So the executive, the president nominates and sends the nominees there. And then we do the hearings as in interview. And we pass you. When you do your work, the whole country can forget who nominated. The process of deriving at the decision to nominate. Everybody said the Senate confirmed the person. My question to you, Mr. Nomini, is NOCAL had a huge role in recommending or selecting Oranto. Did you do background check on NOCAL Oranto's history with our oil basin or oil blanket?
Yes, of course.
What was there? What informed your recommendation or selection of Oranto owing to what their background and history with our oil basin?
So the history of Oranto farming in to Chevron several years back. The concern we had, or the issue we had at the time, we corrected that issue. When you farm in and farm out, it's a known sector. And the interesting thing is, and I would like to state that, oil companies will compete against each other for land, and they will go partner after one of the companies have won or been selected and given that land. That's how the sector operates. At the time when Oranto farmed in Chevron, there was no safeguard. And that's why the country did not benefit from the transaction fee. Now, within the new petroleum agreement, we have a transaction fee set at 25%. So when Oranto or whatever company that comes in to our country and farm in with another company, whatever windfall profit it will make, the government gets 25% transaction fee. In addition to that, there's a windfall profit also that the country gets on the windfall margins. That's spelled out, provided for in our revenue code. So that safeguard is currently in the current petroleum agreement, but it was not there several years ago when Oranto farmed in Chevron. But we've corrected that mistake. We learned from that mistake in the past and we've corrected it in the new petroleum agreement.
So, Mr. Chairman, the gentleman wants to ask on the same subject. We have a duty as a government to inform properly. But everything is political propaganda. We are certain knowledge. They will run to defraud, cheat the government or Liberia, or we the government back then simply did not do its own due diligence to protect itself from Oranto future gains.
So, Senator, I would say Oranto is a profit-making institution, organization. Their objective when created was to create shareholder value. So, and the intent to come and make this huge investment, take this huge risk, is to make profit. What we didn't do as a government was to have the necessary safeguard at the time. So we made a mistake as a government. And that's why we've corrected it going forward.
So we are assurance that we've learned our lesson. I mean,
We've learned our lesson, yes. And we learned it how we fix it in executive times.
Mr. Chairman, are you okay? Senator, do you want to say something?
Is Oranto a full company?
Yes, it has been.
No, I don't know.
Joey, I recognize you.
Sorry, before Senator Smith, why Senator did not question me, member of the committee came, so I asked for introduction.
My name is Bill Tuawe. I represent the interests of the people of Rivers County in this chamber. Thank you.
Yes, two things. One, follow up. Is that the same Oranto company that had come back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good. Secondly, Senator did not ask a question yet. You answer it to the best of your knowledge. But for the sake of the Senate, and tomorrow, the decision that will follow, if the otherwise is established, you say, what is his salary for your position? And you are sure of it?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Senator John Mufa Country.
Let me start with, let me start with an elementary to ask you a question. I look at your curriculum detail. I did not see about data. Is there any reason?
How that means
Personal data,
age,
place of birth.
date of birth.
I don't want to ask whether you are a Liberian. And I want to do something. Are you a Liberian?
I'm not going to go that. I was born in Balatoa. So if you,
Excuse me. Are you a Liberian?
I am senator
Okay, from
from Balatoa, Bon County.
the personal data would have said that.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I'm seeing something from the question and answer. I see something what we call avoidance, admission and avoidance. The information provided for you not doing due diligence was shifted to the regulator. But you're not just going to pick any bag and send it to the regulator. You have your own level of due diligence, which should be enhanced by the regulator. So does that pose additional risk to your selection without due diligence? And is there not? But one example of the risk, because you have a strong background in risk study. So what is the risk imposed for not having due diligence on this company that you pick and just send to the regulator? What's the calculated risk?
Senator, we do due diligence. We don't pre-qualify. It's a regulatory function. So there are three key areas to look at when we're talking to a company. Do we have the technical capacity? Do Do you have the financial capacity? Do you have the legal capacity? So you have to be able to complete the checklist of requirement before we move into the regulator. That pre-qualifies the company. So they perform the final due diligence before they issue a license. So we'll not just pick a company up, not knowing what the company is, not knowing the history, what the legal issues, what they don't have financial capacity, and then we move them to the regulator. We do at a different level. The LPRA does it at the final level.
Okay, we will come to that. But you started off very beautifully by saying that by giving assurances of we being ready, or we having the potential for oil. But I see you raising a lot of points about data collection. Please reconcile and clarify.
You know, we say we want to increase our data library. We want more data. We want data on shore. We don't have. We want data near shore. So we stay on the coastline, 15 kilometers into the ocean. We don't have data. We want data around that level. That's 500 meter, 200 meter water depth. We don't have data there. So when companies want to drill well in those areas right now, they can. Ultra deep, 500 water depth, we do not also have data. So we want to acquire additional data that will encourage more companies in, will encourage more drilling. It will shorten the timeline in which companies drill. That's what I meant.
So what data are you selling?
We have data, current data, we have enough. So we have 2Ds, 34,000 kilometers of 2Ds from Cape Mount to Maryland. We have 31,000 kilometers of 3D data, but they do not cover near shore and ultra deep and onshore. So there are areas we still lacking data. So we want to acquire more data in here. And part of the reason we want to acquire data centers are near shore, a lot of these small companies cannot do deep work. They are not the majors. The super majors are 6 companies in the world. So we want to encourage, we want different kinds of companies to come in. So part of that
is Morocco one of the super bigger?
No, they're not. They're
We get
independent
deep
companies.
water.
They're independent companies. The independents can
So
do
you
deep
get
water.
deep water.
The independents can do deep water.
So can they do deep water?
Yeah,
Do
Murphy
they have
Oil,
history of
Hess.
doing, sorry sir, do they have history of doing deep water?
Yes, they do.
Alright, please comment on that.
Venezuela, yeah.
Okay, so you also talk about the need to have manpower training. Do you have a manpower development program? And if so, what is the history of those that have been trained so far on NOCAL? Or not NOCAL assistance?
NOCAL has a history of training and development. So currently on our register, we have over 200 citizens that have been trained in oil and gas. And we're still compiling that data on different, and I see several of them sitting at the back who were trained by NOCAL. As part of our recruitment process is to be able to onboard gradually those who can afford to onboard. Part of the training program is to be able to, and that's what the G&G is very important for us, to be able to see how we can get some of these people seconded to different oil and gas companies and different national oil companies across the region. We have commitments, I can say, from a couple of companies to be able to send people seconded for training, and that's the database we're relying on. And we'll continue to add people to that database as we train more people. But we have over 200 citizens that have been trained in the last 20 years of drilling program in oil and gas, different fields. But now they have academic degrees that they need, practical, hands-on experience to be able to be ready for the sector.
So of that 200, how many do you have in your employ?
Currently, our technical department is about 6. So there's a geophysicist, there's a geologist, there's a petroleum engineer, there's a chemical engineer. Yeah. And as we expand into these different activities, we'll continue to need more people.
The question I asked, how many of the 200 do you have in your possession?
About 6. 6 technically.
So what happened to those that were trained?
So they're in different sectors now. That's why we have to find opportunities for them in the sector. they have academic degree in the sector, but then they don't have the experience. We need to find different programs to get them trained. And that's why most of the companies that are also coming here, that's the pool they will be hiring from. So if Total Energy, if you finally rectify Total Energy, and they come in, that's the pool you'll be hiring people from. So that's why we want to bring in as many companies as possible, because then you get all these people who are academic degree in the sector, and you give them opportunity to get the experience.
Yeah, it's a precondition in their concession agreements.
No, it's not, but like we're in citizen are given first. Except what the talent they're looking for cannot be found in talent.
Thank you, Chair. I will follow up on that.
Senator,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair.
sorry, we recognize Senator Desmond for serving.
Pleasant good afternoon to all. My name is Jonathan Barchas Sobe. I represent the people of Liberia Company. The chair will speak to that training program as it relates to me when I get to my time to talk. Thank you.
Since you are a former employee of the car,
So thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Lumini. Thank you for the work you have been doing at NOCAL and the very good plans you outline moving forward if you are confirmed by the Senate. I listened to you and you spoke, as you spoke today, I showed the report, keep on hearing you talking about the peaceful blessings. And they are already excited that something is going to happen. But as we listen further, we heard that you still have way to go ahead in making that come to reality in terms of data acquisition. So leaving from this hearing, keep continuously calling and asking, oh, Madam, can you tell us what the prospects and how long do we have to wait to ensure that something starts to happen in that business and other businesses across the country?
So we've, over the last 6 months, we've been working with different data acquisition partners. A lot of the big data companies, they don't do onshore. They focus on deep water data acquisition. But fortunately, we've been able to find companies that are willing to do onshore data acquisition. We're waiting the authority, so LPRA has to grant us the license, the reconnaissance license, to acquire this data. So hoping within the coming weeks, we will get that approval. That will give us the authorization to sign up for companies that company that we think we can work with the private data. And it will take between 6 to 9 months to be able to acquire the necessary data. Also, data acquisition is quite tricky. But high hopes from what we're seeing, geological study is showing us that there's high hope for that basin. And because it's onshore, it's also cheaper. So there's more companies that can do onshore exploration than offshore. So we'll continue to work with the authority to give us the permit that we need to be able to move ahead with that project.
Thank you. And just to piggyback on the issue of training, this is a serious area that we really need to focus on, and I already talking about the TVET training, which is necessary because we have degrees. Recently, in our effort to dive into the issue of work permits, we saw a report displayed here that showed hundreds of engineers in mining and other areas that have been issued work permit, which tells us that they are expatriates or they come from different countries. whereas we have the University of Liberia and other universities in this country that produce many engineers in mining and other areas. So to train is one thing. To give the opportunity so that they get jobs, especially when the sector is developing and we have companies that are participating is another thing. What plan do you have? Because just now, you told this hearing that you have trained over 200 Liberians. And only 6 are here. They are in other sectors. So mean this displacement. In some way, somehow you can call it not really reaping the benefit of the training that they have acquired rather. How do you intend to give them this training and use the opportunities we now have in the sector to have them in the sector?
So the first bill we want to start, Senator, is to bring in as many companies as we can. Instead of having technically all black offshore, all vacant, let's get in as many companies as we can. And that's the mission we have. To bring as many companies to you here to rectify. Those companies are coming in, they are oil and gas companies. They will be hiring people working in oil and gas.
Lastly, I want to mention about the establishment of the Citizens Trust Fund. I know that you responded to that well, according to the law. But again, NOCAL is a lead institution when it comes to the oil sector. The Ministry of Finance, yes, the law provides that the Ministry of Finance will have to set up that. But I think the responsibility lies more with NOCAL and the regulator than Ministry of Finance. So I want you to take it as a responsibility. You should drive it. At the end of the day, it will be set up by Ministry of Finance. But to just read a provision in the law and let it be, it will lie there forever. From my own understanding of how these things work. So you have to take it as my colleague advised you, take it as an issue on your front burner to make sure that it is established. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator. Take note.
Senator Bill 5, you okay, go ahead. Come on, to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Senator Ford. Yeah, thank you. When there was a question posted relative to the experience and the capacity of Oranto, we say yes. And also have an experience in other countries that you mentioned, Venezuela. If so, how long have they been there operating?
I don't have the actual year, but Oranto has been an oil and gas company for 7 years. They have assets in Equatorial Guinea, they have assets in Nigeria, they have assets in Venezuela.
I'm specific on Venezuela. You mentioned that as a case study.
How long did they have? I can double check the numbers.
Okay.
Let's say off my head.
For the record, Oranto had 2 concessions in Venezuela. One was signed in 2024, and one was signed in 2025, meaning barely 1.5 years ago. So to compare or to use it as a case study that they had the experience to award them contract in Liberia, that memory is short and they cannot convince us further. More besides, I had a concern. According to your CVs and your explanation in chief, you have served at the NOCAL since 2019. Is it correct?
No, sir.
Since 2019.
So I was a joint NOCAL in 2010, I left in 2015, then I went back in 2024.
2024. Meaning you have had an experience that one could tap on. If so, what have you not done that if they give you the responsibility left for you to do that will improve local sector?
In simple words, we want to build an integrated oil and gas company. That's what we need to do in the past. In the past, they're focused on exploration. So when your exploration funding goes low, you can survive as a company. So now we want to build an integrated company, meaning we want to work across the value chain, upstream, midstream, and downstream activities.
There was also some rhetorical question placed to you or posted, but I think if not, if my president right would be Honorable Snow, the chair, or either that, or the company in question, Toronto, whether Liberia benefited or they benefited, and in your response, you said that they benefited knowingly, willfully, intentionally. A company that had duped you, that you have a record, because, for instance, in business, while there should have profit required, but it also need faithfulness. The company did something according to you, it benefited out of your ignorance.
Yes.
Giving you this opportunity at this time to give them the company a contract. How do you look at it from decency?
So, Senator, and I think let me provide a bit of background. You know, when oil and gas is quite, it's kind of very complicated concept. Toronto was given external price. Toronto for an opportunity to bring in another company and make a profit off that company. And it brought in a super major. That's how Chevron came into Liberia. Chevron came into Liberia, the work program that was given Toronto, Chevron continued the work program. Toronto was still a party to the agreement, but Chevron became the operator. And these oil and gas programs that you see, there's several, and I just stated here, all the super majors will compete against each other, and then one of them will win the block, and then they'll all back. Because high risk. A single company is not willing to take on that risk. So Toronto farm out equity to Chevron. Come and join me. You're bigger, you have more money, you have more experience. And then Chevron joined Toronto as the operator. Toronto was still party. And to farm in, you have to pay. I've been here, I've invested money, I've taken the risk, you have to pay for that. That's what Chevron paid. That money was not meant for the government, it was meant for Toronto. That's how Chevron paid to Toronto. At the time, if a PSC had a transaction.
So Toronto coming again? So Toronto coming again?
But why it is?
There are a lot of people that come farming and they will
It's part of the sector.
Yes.
Senator. And for us, the more seller you have, the more your product you're selling will grow. If my mom is frying dinner and I'm just the only son selling, everywhere I go, that's the only place about it.
So, 1 minute, sir. Look, 1 minute, you read it and open me up. In order to recommend a company to LPRA for possible licensing, doesn't NOCAL have a duty of care to know that the company it is recommending has the capacity to drill? Because it comes to escrow for drilling.
So I think I need to speak to this
Yeah, please.
drilling program and work program. Senator, all you need is money. NOCAL can drill a well. NOCAL can run a work program if you have the money. If you have the capacity to, the oil companies don't drill well themselves. They subcontract. So all these big companies here, Exxon, Chevron. No, I want to provide.
In the general position,
Okay.
Toronto have capacity.
They have financial capacity. They have technical capacity.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
They have the technical capacity, but when they get the block, then they can go for somebody who can farm.
They have one situation like Liberia, yes, and they did that because I'm not around, so I don't speak for them. But as a business, I guess when we saw the opportunity with a super major wanting to come and farm in, you know, they made a business decision. If I was a businessman, maybe I could make the same decision.
Okay, so again,
What happened to us in the past cannot happen again. We have said
I got
that in
that.
the agreement. Yeah.
I got that. The question what has elevated with Orato
That
That they have to be a second for the second time.
NOCAL to forward them to LPR?
so with the asset that they have currently, if you have assets in Venezuela, you have assets in Equatorial Guinea, you have assets in Nigeria, that shows that you have funding. If you have funding, that shows that you can honor your work program, and which is our priority. How can we drill a well as quick as possible? And the only way you can do that if you have the money.
Has Orato drilled in any country before? Do they have a history?
I would say yes. Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, they have assets that they drill. They have onshore assets that they drill.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Chair?
But again, they hire companies to drill these wells. So the service company does that. It's not much a bigger hit. The company does that.
You still want to follow up? Yeah, I want to pick up on his comments.
Okay.
You still on the floor?
After you are done.
So good thing.
Yes, sir.
So I understand the concept of coming in and coming out. What I want to know is, because my tenure at NOCAL, we did not envisage anything around farming in with any other company, and so it did not form a part of our law. Have we learned from that mistake, and if yes, what are we doing now so that it does not happen again?
So yes, we learned from that. And we spoke about that before you came in. There's a 25% transaction fee in every petroleum agreement. Finding a partner, whatever proceeds we're getting from that partner, the government gets 25%. In addition to that, so we're going for profit, living by the Liberia revenue unitary cost. Currently, I understand it between 6 and 15%. So 25 plus 15 is 35% government get from any farm transaction. So we put in safeguard for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Nominee, I kept hearing you talking about local. What you want is money. I have not heard you talking about empowerment or human resources capacity building. I can't.
No. Please, please.
Human resource capacity building. More often, there are companies that allegedly carry out briefcase business, like in the mining sector. They will come and get lessons for mining, maybe for clean water class A or class B mining. They who originally obtained this lesson are not coming to invest or to carry out anything, but to use the lesson as a trump card to make profit.
Wow.
And then, in addition, whenever they have these companies, there are always confusion in between employees. That is, as some people had a company that had concession with the government. And then later, I got few employees that have sold the company. The issue of settlement or transfer of staff can also be a problem. Where sometimes people say, I was working with this oil company, but because it closed, we are no more working. What mechanism have you put into place in this direction to curtail such a practice should it happen?
So, Senator, let me I'll speak to the capacity building. I think I spoke about that a lot in my presentation. It's one of the core functions of NOCAL, and we have a national training development policy and program that will cover 15 counties. Currently, we have one scholarship program, international scholarship program. We want to extend that to vocational and expert programs also. The question on the mining was the company holds a license and then we'll find a different company, right, Senator? Is that right? So I think we've spoken about the farming and farm out process. I think what I didn't also mention that in order for you to even farm in, it has to be approved by the regulator. So for a company that wants to farm in a new partner, the regulator has to approve that farming. They have to set it becomes the facilitator of that. So they have to make sure the partner you bring in is also qualified, have the financial capacity, the transaction fee that we pay.
So the regulator has to consent.
They have to prove the company that you bring.
Meaning consent.
Consent, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are safeguards. Right?
Yes. Okay. Those are all safeguards for conservation. So,
When you keep the data,
yes, that's a commercial function.
You want to make sure you know that.
I'll leave it with you also.
No, we don't need it.
we made it, we applied it.
Just a follow-up to
I can't let it go.
Senator, I didn't say
a little follow-up to Senator Cook. I called him actually one or two questions when it comes to hand to bag, or company business. And people are so like smart, but here's the thing. We keep talking about Oriental. Oriental being to Liberia since 2018 to 2008 to 2018, almost 15 years now. 2002, sorry, to 2018. Okay. And do you know any establishment, social corporate responsibility for Oriental that have come to this country?
So the PSC, the petroleum agreement, has social welfare contribution that the company contributes annually to the government.
Okay, and another thing I want to add, are you aware of the Liberians that work along with Oriental since the people are on review?
No.
Do you know their status?
No.
As to how they have been treated?
No, I don't.
You need to actually check the state about Oriental. There are Liberians that work with them since the people have not been taking salaries on. There are Liberians that are going to the virus and come out to speak against the ills of Oriental.
But
So
that only that point.
yeah, go
It will also speak to. And I will usually use the word the incompetence of NOCAL in starting recommending for a second deal. Because the NOCAL was only looking for the financial aspect. And that's what Obama has done over the years in terms of social development, commitment to the country, and the status of their employees, what happened to them, then look at them do a good job. Is it safe to say that? Or to have that one?
I would say, Senator, when a company has a license that we said it's at least period of 7 years. When your lease expired, you pack up, pay the taxes you're supposed to pay, leave the country. What I know, Oriental agreement, the petroleum agreement that was given to them, they made a contribution, they made the required contribution that was provided for them. The social welfare contribution was made, software rental payment was made, what else? Hydrocarbon development fund contribution was made. The training development fund contribution was also made. Because without that, we can approve, the contract for the next.
Including employees.
Employees, I would say.
Employees.
I would say employees. I don't know.
You don't know because you did not care to know. Orato has been here. For them to come back, NOCAL is on obligation, duty of care, to clear up all this backlog. So you were more concerned about social development fund, survey the air fund, or with the startup of the employees in that year, like years. NOCAL did not care. Correct?
I don't think it's that we don't care. The fact that we've never, this is my first time hearing that Toronto had employees pay. I've never heard that. It's something that if we had heard that, we
Do you want to care now to?
Sure, we will follow up on that.
Before we go your confirmation report on the
We
floor.
will follow up on that.
You know about?
Relating to the requirement,
Before we want the confirmation
We
report,
will follow on that, Senator. That's,
we want to start on the report.
yeah, we will follow on that. It's a regulatory
You
function.
don't answer
That's-
me. Before we put the confirmation report on the floor, before I sign it as a member of this committee, I want to start on the report on the status of the
Employees from Oranto.
that Oranto left here.
Okay, we'll follow on that, Senator.
No, you are not.
We will work with the regulators, we'll work with the LPRDA. We'll follow on that, Senator.
Mr. Nominee.
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Nominee.
Yes, sir.
I don't know and yes or no. That's two different things. When someone say I don't know, they are not answering yes or no. They say yes or they must say no. I want a definitive response from you on what their program.
We will follow up on the Oranto employees issue, Senator, and we'll do a report to that.
Information.
We will hold your confirmation report until you give us a status report.
I will do that, Senator. I will do that, Senator. I'll send a status report on the Oranto employees.
So 1 million. Why you can't get a question? 1 million. No, I'm not like community to tell me no. Get the level of people.
Go ahead.
So last year I asked you about anything tangible, anything like you can show us or tell us about. You could affect your process back at the cherished part. So the word is describe us, the word will affect the process. They want to talk to them. So he asked you about anything. Is there anything about rapping that is done in Liberia that you can tell us about? Like I think Sherman, they were in the Sherman Park. Is there anything you can tell us?
So the contracts are structured in different ways. Chevron's social welfare contribution was managed by Chevron. So they directly made those interventions. The Oranto agreement, the contribution was paid to the government, was paid to the University of Liberia. So the company was not required to do direct intervention. Training and development to the University of Liberia was sent to the University of Liberia Geology Department. Renewable energy contribution was sent to the Renewable Energy Agency. Social welfare contribution was sent to the consolidated. So those payment requirements in the agreement was sent to the relevant institution.
Anyway, I think a random thing is just brainstorming. They come in. So we're looking at the PSC with actual
So, let me state for the record that I'm one of the beneficiaries of the local training program. I went to the master class in local content in Reading, England, from NOCAL. So, please. And so I'm aware of most of the things the witness is talking about. But, Chief, I'm going to elaborate people at this point, and so I will have to pose some questions to you, especially those who I don't understand. Oranto operated in Liberia alongside Chevron. Is it Chevron or? Yeah, Chevron. Which means that they acquired blocks before coming to function in Liberia. They are now coming back. My question is, did they relinquish? Hello? What's that? I mentioned my phone. Never drop interview. All right. So,
Maria, no, don't know, one will disturb me.
did they acquire additional sesame survey for the blocks they are occupying now, or are they relying on their first survey purchased. Because I understand as a great condition that in order for any company to come to that ability function, you must obtain a suspect survey from TGF prepared. If that is true, where are we going to run to?
So, companies will run two bases. So most times, companies will take data across the basin to make a determination. And the fact that Oronto was here for over 12 years, they acquire a lot of data across the basin. So coming in, they did not acquire new data, but they had acquired data in the past. So it depends on what the technical decision is, but they did not acquire new data for the new blocks. But they had acquired data in the past across the basin. A lot of those data I don't have to reprocess, so it depends on the crew. I can say what led the technical decision, but they did not acquire data for the new blocks.
Mr. Lai, let me thank the President for referring you to this position. I've worked with you for a record. I know your competence. And I'm not promising a regime vote for you. But I'm saying that I know your competence and that when this committee sees fit to give you that opportunity, I know you will do your best and make us proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President-Designate, congratulations for your deferment.
Thank you, Senator.
I should have a little bias for you, having known you, your professionalism that you exhibited over the years, some mutual friends who speak highly of you. Personal interactions with you has proven that you are someone who is well versed in the area that the president has selected you. However, we have a piece of job to do because we do have a responsibility to people who sent us here. So I will not be asking you much about why Oronto, but I will have just one or two questions for you about Oronto so that I can have enough resources to my disposal or information to cross-examine them when their concession agreement is on the floor. Because some of us already have a scorecard that Oronto has to pass before we can even put pen to paper. Yeah. However, I will ask you a couple of questions. You can answer some if the need be, and you can defer some if not. Because sitting here, we already have our own tools that will cross-examine those people when they come. From your perspective, I will firstly begin by asking you are on oath, and I want you to be very sincere with this committee. What is your working relationship with LPRA? I want you to rank them, because I have to help you here, fair, good, and excellent.
I'll say good, Senator.
Good.
Let him know.
I will ask you again, you are on oath. When the Senator emphasizes that, thank you. What is, from your own words now, besides my ranking, what is your working relationship like, NOCAL and LPRA?
Again, I would say good, Senator. It's not excellent, it's not fair. And because they're the regulator, I don't see a time where it's going to be excellent. Your regulator, you always bother the regulator. When I sent a request for permission, reconnaissance permission, indicated to do one show, I want you to respond to me in the next day. And you are not going to do it as a regulator. So we will have fights, which is normal in this business.
Having said that, Oronto, in your reading of the petroleum law, rules and regulations, do they meet the qualification to drill in Liberia?
So, Senator, the first thing we look at in a company, we look for in a company is financial capabilities.
Okay.
If you have financial capabilities and your technical capability is not what we expect, you can buy it. Because a lot of the services that are provided in this sector are not provided by these oil companies. They hire those services.
Okay. Did they meet all of the requirements thereof under the laws to be given all blocks?
Yes, they did. And that's what the government awarded them.
Take me through the first 5 steps. Because I know I'm carrying this question. What all you need to do, just name me the first 5 to be qualified to be given all blocks.
So you first make a decision that the subsurface potential of the country attracts you. That means the geology was under.
Okay.
And then you make a decision on the area you want to focus your attention. That means the blocks you want to take up. And then you express an interest in those blocks to the LPRA.
Okay.
The LPRA pre-qualifies you. Currently, Deloitte conducts the pre-qualification on behalf of the government. Based on the pre-qualification report, the government issues a negotiation with the company.
So for now, with all the oil blocks gone, I can determine that NOCAL should be having a lot of money now for the payment of data.
That's just 8 oil blocks.
How much?
Got 33.
Okay, how much for each block? How much for data for each block?
So it depends what kind of data you're buying. There's different pricing structure.
Let's take
So-
the middle ground.
So initially, the company would acquire 2Ds. Because that's what is required to make a determination whether you need 3D data. So 2D data range from 600,000 to 1.3, 1.7 million, depending on the quantity you look at. It's lines, how many kilometers of lines you're taking. So they range from 600,000 to 1.3, 1.7 million.
That's a general one. I want to be specific. 8 blocks gone. Which data did we sell? The 2Ds or the 3Ds, and how much for each?
So 2Ds. They will come for 3Ds when they're about to drill. To drill a well, you need 3D data. Without 3D, they can't drill a well.
So let's take the
The 2Ds, yeah.
Let's take between 600 to 1.3 million. Let's take $800,000. So the value should be 800,000 times 8 region by now.
800,000 region.
800,000 times 8.
No, they don't multiply by
It's per block, right?
No, per lines. It's kilometers, so it's the self data per lines. So if you take 1,000 kilometer lines, 100 kilometers, it's lines.
So
not
what
per
was
line.
the diesel block?
Because you could get one line across the 4 block. So if you get
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, you could take a line from here that crosses all the blocks.
Because you know the budget is coming, and the fact that the new petroleum law puts the money in a consolidated account, we just want to know so we can start working on our process already.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to follow up, answer to that question, the data total bought was 3 years ago.
Oh,
So that money was long gone before you even got to NOCAL.
So how much started the building?
I would say yes, part of it, I don't know, but if I'm assuming, that was money that went to the corporation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about billing, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So,
Use your mic.
yeah, so how many lines were sold to Oronto?
So Oronto data was bought long time ago. They bought data, I can't say how many kilometers of line. But they bought data across the basin. Currently, with the recent coming in, they did not acquire new data, but we expect them to acquire new data when they start the work program.
So they already on what data? what data about?
I'm assuming the old data that was acquired.
Don't, you can't assume.
Because I don't know, Senator. Because it's Toronto,
No.
yeah.
Calm down.
Sorry.
To administer a new home, or you comfortable with the existing home? Because the old is for you to say the truth.
I'm comfortable with the system.
So, you answer Senator the long question.
He said that they acquired new data.
He said,
For the current blacks, no.
So,
and, sorry, so Oranto did not acquire new data for the current block.
Yes.
And the previous block they had expired, but it was 7 years, it had expired. So, can you explain to us?
So you acquire, example can I give? So companies acquire data, sometimes they acquire across several blocks, right? And then you have those data, it's multi-client. So I have, after a period, you have to reprocess it. So when I'm coming in as a company, I can make a decision. Do I use the data that I have currently to make a determination of what blocks I want to take, right? Because they took this data, or do I reprocess them on my own and make a determination, knowing that when I get in,
Stop it, stop.
Chairman?
yes,
Chairman, can I follow up? Okay.
So, one of your sources of revenue is to sell your data,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You take the block, you lease it, the seller asks you, it's not sold, it's leased for 7 years. At the expiration of 7 years, 2 years later, maybe in the 9th year, you want to come back into the basin. It's left for your discretion to decide that I will use my old data to come back, or you have to come back to you as a means of you generating from revenue, and the person being able to acquire the data to get a new data. Is it optional?
So there's different forms of revenue. So data is not only revenue. So if a company,
It's not only revenue, but
yes,
it's a form of revenue.
yes,
So, Senator Twine asked you also about the budget.
yeah,
So, is it the discretion of, or was it the level of discretion of Oranto
yeah.
to say we need data, even though the one we had expired, but yet give all the plan? How you did?
It was their decision. But within the agreement, your work program commitment, there's data purchase requirement. So within the work program, that's the safeguard. So within the agreement now, your work program has a data purchase requirement.
Chairman, can I follow
Go
up?
ahead.
Mr. Lamini,
Yes.
from an elementary understanding of the issue, the first data that Oranto purchase has expired, true or false?
No, the data doesn't expire.
Or the time
No, it doesn't. It's just a picture. You can reprocess it. So after 10 years, if you think it's not clear, because the sensitive data is sound, so if you think there's not sound in it, you can reprocess it. Like our data was acquired in 2002, 2004.
So the first one that they obtained, and in your own word, those things that happen will not happen again. From that point up to today, they come back to obtain a new one.
No, they have not acquired new data.
How they qualify to be in concession that was sent to the Senate?
It's not a prerequisite that you have to buy data. But within the work program, there's a mandatory data purchase requirement in the petroleum agreement that is signed.
I reclaim my time.
And you cannot drill a well if you can acquire 3D data. That is even on you. So that data purchase requirement is in the petroleum agreement.
That is more clear. However, moving on, can you acquire a block without buying data?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
If you take a risk.
Yes.
So, Senator Bouchard,
Sorry.
I'll take all my time. So if you acquire a block without buying data, you want to reflect down the record, right?
Yes. It's your risk. But as part of the data agreement, we need to put in the agreement as a mandatory data requirement for 3 business.
Alright, so there are a lot of questions surrounding that, but because you have a regulator, so we'll save this for the public hearing. I want the record to reflect that, Mr. Chairman, even before we start looking at any ratification process for Orlando deal, LPRA should be brought here, please, go for serious public hearing on these matters before we even let the record show that. I will just take you through my very simple question. And it has to do with your new building. There was already a report in the public about, some monies being placed from your predecessors or prior or the previous ones, and withdrawn rapidly maybe the next day. This is in no way accusing anybody of energy rate, but that circumstance probably raised eyebrow. But, I just want to ask if you are aware of those transactions on the books in the past. And if they were dedicated towards the building.
So, payments were made prior to taking over NOCAL from the previous administration for the head office.
Okay.
What we did was to establish what payment was made, what phase of the building was completed, and what payment was outstanding at the time, and to continue to make payment towards that contract until the building is completed. And that's what we've continued to do. And that's why the building is completed, nearly completed today, and we've made the payment that's required up to this month.
From your own judgment, was there value for money from the previous payment?
I would say for the quality of building that NOCAL has been able to construct, for the kind of work that was being done. And again, I'm not to say what you do there. I don't have the, I want to make that disclaimer. I don't have the capacity to determine.
I want you to know that these questions are not specifically for you.
Yeah, I know.
They are meant for public information.
I
want to know if the payment from the past administration, from your own perspective, is it value for money? Was there value for money?
I would say to respond to that question, I'll be speculating because I don't have the capacity to say what is value for money.
Okay, then I will switch it away.
Yeah.
What is the total initial estimated cost of the building?
The building initially from the contract was 2.2 million.
To complete it?
To complete it, it was 5 floors, if my recollection is correct. Mm-hmm. They were increased to 4.7 million with an additional floor. So that was 1.5 million increase in the cost of the building.
So it was 4 million and then just for one?
It was 2.2.
2.2 and then for one floor it has to double.
Yes.
What year was that decision made?
2023.
2023. It was increased from 2 million. If the price of the building doubled just because of one floor. You are honorable and I want you to be factual with that.
I mean, that's what my recollection is telling me.
Okay, so as it stands now, were there any additional extension
yes,
in terms of pricing?
There are minor changes. We had a bathroom outside, 2 extra gates, we had a solar, we had some security, just that major change. Just changes that will increase the value of the building.
So as a completion, what is the total estimated cost of the current building?
4.7, probably 4.8. Yeah, those changes will cost me 100,000, 90,000. The new changes, yeah, it's about 90,000.
Okay. Yeah. You've been in NOCAL for 9 months.
9 months, yes.
You are probably one of the new. You met some people at the vice president and the board. What is your relationship with the board and what is your relationship with the rest of your colleagues?
Now,
are you in charge?
I'll go to the extreme, Senator. I would say my relationship with my board is excellent. I have members of my board here today.
Yeah.
My board chair would have loved to be here. She's currently on official assignment. Our management team, they're all here today. I think we have a very excellent relationship from what we've experienced or where we came from.
Are you in charge?
I am in charge.
Are you fully in charge of NOCAL?
I am,
As CEO?
I am as...
You understand the CEO is different from a managing director, right?
Yes, sir.
The president is quite different from director general, right?
No, sir.
The CEO takes responsibility of the company and runs it based upon his vision in line with the policies of the corporation. You're aware?
Yes, sir.
So I will ask you for the last time. In reference to those you supervise as a vice president, are you in charge?
I'm in charge, sir.
Thank you.
Follow up to that. I don't know why he came up, but that was one of the questions I had to ask. So since he raised it, let me just continue. Are you actually in charge?
Yes, sir. I am in charge.
Okay. How many vice presidents do you have?
3.
You don't think there's too many? You think you need 2 vice presidents?
I think I need more, Senator.
I think they're less business, so why do you need?
The vice president.
So a senator from a county raises an issue of a concession in this county. And one of your vice presidents, who's a former employee of that company, took a whole week to go after the senator for speaking on behalf of his county. And you tell us he's in charge? Is that part of the management? Is that part of the management staff? He's an official of government. He worked within your entity. Matter of fact, he's on Facebook more than any social media in this country. But that's his issue. I'm sure he left business and he can do that. But Senator Twain represents Nima County. He has a concession in this county that's affecting his people. And your vice president decides that because he's a former employee of that company, he will take to Facebook and challenge a safety senator of a county, taking into consideration his time on the clock. I can show you the time you're on Facebook. The date, the time. So you're now Googling it. On the clock, he's attacking one senator for defending his people. But you're in charge, right? Can you tell us about that?
Because Senator, the way I rate performance is not how long you stay on the clock. It's how well you produce the results that I want you to produce. So my vice president could decide to stay home 9 to 5 and work from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning and still deliver for me. So my objective is to ensure that you get the key performance indicators.
Mr. Nomini, what is the official work hours for our Lord?
9 to 5.
9 to 5 a.m. or
Yes, 9 to 5 p.m.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I'm leading. I'm doing this follow-up question. Look, all the questions I asked you yesterday, I didn't go near your credential. Professional academic. I didn't go closer. Because that waste of my time in a constructive way. We saw you qualify by your credential. We wanted to test your ability and your suitability. A lot of people miss from school or just consider qualification to be ultimate. There's a thin line between qualification and competence. Qualification is a requirement that links you to the job. Competence is your personal ability to do the job. You may be qualified, but sometimes that becomes competence. We did not dwell on your academic professional credential because we already know that you possess those. Now your suitability and in a job interview, even your body language, certain conduct can cause you to lose a job. Now, in your display of your knowledge of, you got to be careful and realize when you come here to defend one of your officials, they say you can be online, working hours, Because you have the ability to be up 3 o'clock in the morning to do your work, you run into problem. The official work hour of this country, in keeping with the code of conduct, is from 9 to 5 p.m. Take a look at that.
Thank you, President. Noted.
So, since you don't mind, President, you do whatever hour to retire and Senator for different needs now. We'll move forward. We'll move forward. All right? But we'll take note of that. And I think one of the new things in our proposal that we're looking at right now, including who owns the data, is also we can have assistant ministers coming for confirmation. Then Vice President of NOCAL said, no, we only see you. So we can add it in instruction. Maybe it will help us. All right? So we don't have to deny. While we're speaking, the ranking member of the Senate, Chairman of Security and Justice, also were asking to give the implication. And then if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Sorry for being late, but it's important that I came because of the importance of this hearing. Actually, just gathered from NOCAL this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
That's how this, for me, this hearing is important. So my name is Weah. I represent the NOCAL County. Like you said, I chair the National Security Committee. That comprises of defense, intelligence, security, and veteran affairs. And I'm also a ranking member and member of the leadership of the National Security. For me, I want to say thanks for the president nomination. I know these wonderful people have quizzed you. I have expressed confidence in these people sitting behind you. And so, if you get confirmed, I wish you all the best. I do not want to ask a question because maybe a colleague of mine will have asked the question. And there will be a repetition. I don't want to do that. Yeah, so I say thank you for coming to this program. I hope your questions were satisfactory. To the committee member chaired by our friend and brother, Senator Snow. I wish you all the best if you get confirmed. Thank you.
So, I want to say thank you to our President-Designate for NOCAL. And I want to say to you that the people of Bon County, we are proud of you as our son. From I have to give him a blessing for our county. A song from our county that we wear peacefully. There's one thing I just want to make one or two comments on. I think I said to the chair that I got some issues that I want to have a conversation with you, but that was discussed in our committee room. Posted some questions in our chat room that we need to talk about. So, the people of Bon just want to say to you that the Citizen Trust Fund that you spoke about, that 5%, they are listening to you. You are their son. And we pray that you take charge, and Madam Baba said, take charge of it, and you make the better history that we all need to join to make the difference. We want to say, with your competence, we do believe in your competence. With your qualification, yes. Your vision toward NOCAL, I have to believe that you make it because you're somebody that I've been knowing all the people. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you. Mr. Nominee, I have some questions here. And as chair, I have some questions of my own. And my style of confirmation is also to get some intervention from the public that I will go over to express it.
Senator,
So if
can I ask you a recess and piece of action?
Sure. Still trying to do
Well, folks, thanks for joining us. This is On TV. We are coming to you live from the main chambers of the Liberian Senate. Ongoing right now is the confirmation hearing of the President-Designate of the National Oil Company of Liberia, NOCAL, Honorable Fabian M, and you've been following closely the different interactions with the senators and the nominee. He's been answering a series of questions from senators here on why he thinks he's best suited for this position. He was appointed or nominated by the President of the Republic of Liberia about 8 months ago. Since then, he has been acting in the position pending confirmation. And today happens to be the D-Day, that final day when the Liberian Senate will quiz him. And this is the process that you've been following here closely. And so I want to say thanks for joining us. He has asked for a minute to make use of the bathroom, and once he does that, he's going to come back, and with that, the confirmation is going to continue. But today he's been speaking on a range of issues. When confirmed, he says the National Oil Company of Liberia will see huge transformation in different areas. He disclosed